Now, the distance time graph is a distance time graph which shows the Ravi's cycle journey. It sets out from home and cycles to a park. That is from home to the park, P. Now, after a short stop at the park, he stayed for a very short period from here to this point. That's the stop. Now, after a short stop at the park, he then continues his journey to his shopping center. It is from here to this point. That's the shopping. This place represents the shopping center. He stops for lunch. That is between this point to this point. He stopped for lunch at the shopping center before cycling back home. Now, everything on this line represents the home. Starts from home to a park. Then at the park, he rested a while. Then from the park, he cycled to the shopping complex center. And from the shopping center, he took lunch. Then from lunch, back home. Now, the question says, at what time does Ravi arrive at the park? Now, if you look from here, what's the distance from here to this point? What's the time from this point to this point? What's the time? Now, if you trace that down, you find that he arrives at the park at what? 11:30. Therefore, he arrives at the park at what time? 11:30. That's when he arrived at the park. Then the next question says, how many minutes does Ravi spend at the shopping center? Now let's go back. This is the shopping center. Don't forget that S here represents the shopping center. Now from here to this, from this point to this point, how many minutes does he spend? Now to do that, you have to go down to the horizontal axis, trace from here to this point. Just trace it vertically. I'll do that for you. Now if you look at this vertically, that ends somewhere here. Trace. Now vertically. Then take this point vertically downwards. You see, trace this downward. That represents the time he spent at the shopping mall. Now, look at one thing. Between 10 tiny boxes, we have 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes. Now, let's start counting from here. Now, 30, that means that for each of the tiny box, how many minutes? It's 3 minutes. Therefore, let's see. Count the number of boxes from here to this point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. That's 13. Don't forget I said each tiny box represents 3 minutes. Now that will give us 13 times 3, which is equals to 39 minutes. Is that okay? That's 39 minutes. Then said how far? How far is the park from the shopping center? Now go back to your graph. This is the shopping center and this is the park. How far simply means the distance. The distance between the shopping center and the park. Now doing that, you have just count the number of. Now at this point, this is 5 kilometers, 10 kilometers, like that. Now if this is 5 kilometers, now come back to this, you find out that 2 tiny boxes represent 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer, 1 kilometer. Then from here to the park now, this is the park. Take it to the shopping mall. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That gives us 8. That gives us 8 kilometers. Is that okay? Said, at what speed does Ravi cycle home? Give your answer in kilometers per hour. Now, going back to the graph, we want to look at the speed that Ravi cycle home. Now, from here to this point represents the total distance. Okay. Now, what we need to get the speed now. Now, speed simply means distance. Speed simply means distance over time. Distance over time. Now we need to get the distance. Now what's the distance from here? That is the height, the vertical height. As the vertical height over the horizontal height. Is that okay? Vertical height over the, and that will give us, this is 15. This place we have 15. 15, 16, 17, 18. And that gives us 18 kilometers divided by, now what's the time? From here to here is how many minutes? We have 30 minutes plus 15. That's 45 minutes. Now 45 minutes is how many? 45 minutes is equivalent to 3/4 hour. Now divide this by 3/4. That will give us 18 times 4 divided by 3. 3 here 1. 18, 3 into 18, that's 6 times 4. That was 24 kilometers per hour. Now, between which two places is Ravi cycle slowest? Now, already we've calculated the distance back home, which we got as 24 kilometers per hour. Now, we need to consider the two upward slopes now. And the two upward slopes, the one that went to the park and from here to the shopping center. Are we together? Now, to get the speed for the park, we need to find the slope, that is from this point to this point. What's the distance? That is 10. From here to here is 10. Now, what is the time? From here to here is how many minutes? 30 minutes. That's the same thing as saying half hour. Now, for the speed, now we have speed for the park is equals to 10 over half, which is equals to 10 times 2 divided by 1. That gives us 20 kilometers per hour. Now we need to also find the speed, the second speed for the shopping, from to the shopping. Now what's the second speed? That is, we have from this point to this point. And that is the speed. From this point to this point. Now from here to that point, how many? We have 15. We have 5, 6, 7, and what? 8. That's the slope. 8. Now what is the time? The time from here to here is how many? Don't forget, each tiny box is how many minutes? 3 minutes. Let's count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. And that's 17 times 3. Here's 1. That's 51. Now we can now say 51 minutes. Now 51 minutes is equivalent to how many hours? That's 51 over 60. Now we can say 8 times 60 over 51. Now solving this, 8 times 60 over 51, you get 9.41 kilometers per hour. Now comparing the three speeds, that is 24 returning back home, 20 kilometers going to the park, and 9.41 kilometers going to the shopping mall. You'll find out that the slowest of the speeds represents the shopping and what? The park. That's where she has the what? The slow. That's where she had her slowest movement. Now, lastly, let's take F. Said Salim, Ravi's brother, set out from home at 11:15. Now he cycles directly to the shopping center at a constant speed of 15 kilometers per hour. Now, who arrives at the shopping center first? Then, how many minutes later does his brother arrive? Now, already we know the movement for Ravis. Now, let's just construct the movement for Salim. Now, we'll do that by making some construction. Now, we're told that Salim's left home at 11:15. This is 11:15. Now, he left home at 11:15 and moved straight to the shopping mall. That's a straight movement. And that's for Salim. And I said, who arrives at the shopping center first? Now, to get the person that will arrive there, we have to check the distance. We have to check the speed. Now, the speed will tell us who gets there early. Now, mere looking at this, you should know that Salim will get there faster because his speed was, I said he cycles directly to the shopping center at a constant speed of what? 15 kilometers per hour. Now, before we just conclude, we need to find the time each will spend. And this person spends how many time? What time? We have 15, 30. This is 1 hour. 1 hour 15. Then plus 9. 115 plus 9. 15 plus 9. That gives us 24. 1 hour 24 minutes. Then this person spends how many hours? 30. 1 hour. 1 hour 30. Now, let's just do some little calculations. To get Salim's time, now that will give us total distance 18 over his speed, which is 15, and that will give us 1.2 hour. It is 1 hour. Converts 0.2 to minutes. You get 2 over 10 times 60. That gives us 12 minutes. Therefore, Salim will spend 1 hour 12 minutes. Now, let's go back to the graph. Now, if Salim starts from 11:15, from here to here is 30 minutes. Then we have another 30 minutes. Now, don't forget I said each tiny box represents 3 minutes. Therefore, how many boxes? Now, for 12 minutes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, trace this line 12 upward to the peak of the graph. Trace it upward to the peak of the graph. Okay, you see? And to the peak of the graph. Now you find out that what's the distance between Salim's time? Now just like this line is going, this Salim's journey is going to the peak of this. Now I can retrace this one. I can redraw the line. Now redrawing the line, you find out that the line goes straight to the point this. Now if you check from this point, to this point, we have how many boxes? 3 boxes. 1, 2, and 3. We have 3 tiny boxes. It is from here to this point. We have 3 tiny boxes. Now those 3 tiny boxes represent 9 minutes. Now you see that it's 3 boxes. Now that means that Salim gets to the shopping center before Ravis. Now these 3 boxes signifies the time difference in their arrival. And that will give us 3 times 3. That will give us 3 times 3, which is what? 9. That means that Salim gets there before his brother, or his brother arrived after, that is, Ravi arrived after Salim in how many minutes? 9 minutes. That implies that Salim arrives first and his brother arrives 9 minutes later. That ends the class. If you have any question, you can post it online, then I'll attend to it. Don't worry, I'll give you more examples on